Hey guys, Mrs. Flanagan here. Today we are going to talk about inscribed and circumscribed angles. Go ahead and take a minute to copy down this information. So go ahead and pause the video now to do that. All right. So basically with inscribed angles, it's an angle on the edge of a circle. And so it's this angle right here. And the way that you find what we call the intercepted arc is you follow the angle down to the other edge of the circle, and then notice how these endpoints create an arc on our circle. And so this right here is what we call the intercepted arc. And the relationship between the inscribed angle and the intercepted arc is that if we take the inscribed angle, this is how we name the inscribed angle. This is the angle ABC. The middle letter is always where the angle is. So if we times that angle by 2, it's going to give us the measure of our arc, AC. And this symbol right here kind of looks like a rainbow. That means arc. M stands for measure. And then this symbol here stands for angle. Again, M stands for measure. And so for example, then, if our inscribed angle was 50 degrees, we would take that 50 degrees and multiply it by 2 to get the intercepted arc. And so the intercepted arc would be 100 degrees. And here, the inscribed angle is, again, the angle that's on the edge of our circle. So this right here is the angle, the inscribed angle. And then if we follow the angle across to the other edge of our circle, then we create these two endpoints right here. And those two endpoints form the intercepted arc. And notice that the intercepted arc is halfway around the circle, which means that intercepted arc is 180 degrees. And so if I want to know what the inscribed angle is, we go the opposite direction, right? If we start at the inscribed angle, we multiply by 2. So here we did 50 times 2 to get the 100 degrees. So now if we're starting with 180 degrees, we have to divide by 2 to get the 90 degrees. So 180 divided by 2 equals the 90 degrees. Now for our examples, here is the inscribed angle, and if we follow, so that was our question mark, the angle to our edge of the circle, follow the angle to the other edge of the circle, this is the intercepted arc. And so the intercepted arc is 174 degrees. So if we want to find the measure of the inscribed angle, we take that 174 degrees, divide it by 2, and that is equal to 87 degrees. So our inscribed angle is 87 degrees. If you ever get confused on if you're going to multiply by 2 or divide by 2, you can just look and see which one is smaller or which one's bigger, right? Just visually looking at this, 174 degrees is bigger than our angle. And so if we want to go smaller, the only way to make it to be smaller is to divide. So we're going to divide by 2. Whereas over here, we need to end up making it bigger, right? We're starting with the smaller, so we have to make it bigger, so we're going to end up multiplying by 2. And let's follow then our inscribed angle. So this right here is 50 degrees. So follow that to the other edge of our circle, follow that to the other edge of our circle, and it creates this inscribed angle, or sorry, intercepted arc is what I meant to say. And so we need to take that 50 and multiply it by 2, and that equals 100 degrees. So this intercepted arc is 100 degrees. But notice that's not the question mark that we need to find. This is the question mark that we need to find. So we have to actually do an extra step for this one. The question mark is this arc right here, this purple arc. Notice that the purple arc, so from here and all the way around to here, so the purple arc and the blue arc is half the circle. So that's 180 degrees, which means the 100 plus our question mark equals 180. So what does the question mark have to be? Well, the question mark has to be 80 degrees. So this is 80. And if you can't do that in your head, basically what I ended up doing is party walling it up and subtracting the 100 from both sides so that we get the question mark by itself to find out that it is equal to the 80 degrees. For our next example, this is the inscribed angle, which is the x plus 19. This is the intercepted arc, which is the 4x plus 16. And so remember, if we take the inscribed angle and we times it by 2, it will equal the intercepted arc. And so take the inscribed angle and times it by 2, and it will equal the intercepted arc. Now it's an equation that we can solve for x. So party wall that up. Distribute the 2. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 19 is 38. And this is equal to 4x plus 16. We want the x's on the same side. So subtract 4x, subtract 4x, and 2x minus 4x is negative 2x plus 38 is equal to 16. And now we subtract 38 from both sides. And so we have negative 2x is equal to 16 minus 38 is negative 22. Divide both sides by negative 2. And so x is equal to 11. But notice that's not what it's asking us to find. It's asking us to find the measure of angle ZXY. So ZXY. So it wants us to find this angle. It wants us to find the inscribed angle. And so our inscribed angle is x plus 19, which means we need to plug 11 into the x. So this becomes 11 plus 19, which is equal to 30 degrees. So the measure of our angle ZXY equals 30 degrees. All right, let's skip this example. If you can show me that you did it correctly during class sometime, then I will give you extra credit. Let's look at this example here. So this is our inscribed angle. This is our intercepted arc. So if we take our inscribed angle and multiply it by 2, then it's going to equal our intercepted arc. There's no information given for our intercepted arc, so let's just multiply this through. 2 times 7x is 14x. 2 times -1 is -2. And so our intercepted arc is 14x minus 2. Notice that with our intercepted arc plus this 5x plus 20 plus this 18 plus 8x goes all the way around the circle, and so that's 360 degrees, which means if we add all three of these together, we can set it equal to 360 degrees. So we take the 14x minus 2, add it to the 18 plus 8x, and then add it to the 5x plus 20. Then it's going to equal 360 degrees. So now it's an equation that we can solve for x. Let's combine like terms. So 14x plus 8x plus 5x is 27x. And then -2 plus 18 plus 20 is 36. And those still equal 360. So now party wall it up, subtract 36 from both sides. And so we have 27x is equal to 360 minus 36 is 324. Divide both sides by 27, and that gives us x is equal to 12. But again, that's not what it's asking us to find. It's asking us to find the measure of angle MNL. So MNL, this angle right here. So 7x minus 1 is equal to 7 times, plug 12 into the x, so 12 minus 1, which is equal to 83 degrees. So the measure of angle MNL is equal to 83 degrees. And for this last example on this page, notice that there's no information given for our inscribed angle, and so we're not going to really use that piece of information since nothing's given to us. Instead, notice that the intercepted arc plus this arc go halfway around the circle, and so those two arcs together equal 180 degrees. And so the 6x plus 14 plus the 6 plus 14x, they go halfway around the circle, and so they equal 180 degrees. And now we combine like terms, so 6x plus 14x is 20x, and 14 plus 6 is also 20, and that equals 180. Party wall this up, minus 20 from both sides, and that gives us 20x is equal to 160. Divide both sides by 20, and that gives us x is equal to 8. But we're not finding x, we are finding the measure of arc FE. So arc FE is this arc right here, the 6 plus 14x. So 6 plus 14x is equal to 6 plus 14, plug the 8 in to our x, and that is equal to 118. So the measure of our arc, FE, is equal to 118 degrees. For our last page, we are going to talk about circumscribed angles now. So a circumscribed angle is outside of the circle. And if this then is our circumscribed angle, and we follow the lines to our circle, then our intercepted arc is this blue arc right there. That's our intercepted arc. And the rule between the circumscribed angle and the intercepted arc is if we add them together, it equals 180 degrees. For this example here, our circumscribed angle is what we're trying to find. The intercepted arc is this blue arc here, and we are told that the 233 degrees, which is this arc here. So notice that with the green arc and our blue arc, those go all the way around the circle, and so they're 360 degrees, which means we can find this blue arc by taking the 360 degrees and subtracting the 233 degrees, and that equals 127 degrees. So that is this blue arc right here. And now we use our rule where it says if we take the circumscribed angle and add it to the intercepted arc, which is 127 degrees, it equals 180 degrees, right? So this rule right here. And now we can party wall this up, subtract 127 from both sides, and that means my question mark is equal to 53 degrees. And here, the circumscribed angle is 65 degrees. The intercepted arc, we don't know, but we can find that because we know that if we take the 65 degrees and add it to the intercepted arc, let's call this x, then it equals 180 degrees. So now party wall that up, subtract 65 from both sides, and we get x is equal to 180 minus 65, which is 115. So the intercepted arc is 115 degrees. And then if this is 115, then we want to find what's left over. So this question mark is this arc right here that's left. So because this green arc and the blue arc go all the way around the circle, that's 360 degrees. And so we know that if we take the question mark and add it to the 115 degrees, it will equal 360. So party wall, subtract 115 from both sides, and that gives us the question mark is equal to 360 minus 115, which is 245 degrees. And our last example, the circumscribed angle here is 10x. The intercepted arc here is 15x plus 5. And so we know that if we take the intercepted arc and add it, if we take the circumscribed angle and add it to the intercepted arc, that it's going to equal 180 degrees. So combine like terms, 10x plus 15x is 25x. We're adding 5, that equals 180. Party wall it up. Subtract 5 from both sides. So we have 25x is equal to 175. Divide both sides by 25. And so that gives us x is equal to 175 divided by 25, which is 7. But we want to find the measure of RP. So RP is the 15x plus 5. So 15x plus 5 is equal to 15 times by the x. So we're plugging x in, which is 7, plus 5, and that is equal to 15 times 7 plus 5 is 110 degrees. And this one we are skipping. Again, if you can do it correctly and show me that work sometime during class, I will give you extra credit.